Welcome to BesTeas, where the tea is hot and the laughs are even hotter.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Sean,
We're your favorite duo.
ready to spill with you, dish with you, and serve up all the laughs.
Let's get into it.
Hey besties, growth is a beautiful thing, but let's be real, it can also be really lonely. Sometimes evolving means outgrowing friendships, breaking old routines, or even saying goodbye to parts of yourself that no longer fit. And while change is necessary, it's not always easy.
That's right, folks. In today's episode, we're diving into the emotional side of personal growth, the discomfort, the doubt, and the bittersweet moments that come with it. But don't worry, y'all. You're not alone in this journey. So let's talk about how to embrace change, navigate the loneliness, and remind ourselves that growth, no matter how hard, always leads us to something better, y'all. And listen, I could not have thought of a better week to talk about growth, change, and evolution, y'all, because we got quite the amount of complaints. Brittany, hit us with your first complaint.
Well, I'm sure if you're watching this, you're probably thinking it too. But I was at Jeff's work the other day, just minding my own business at the salad bar, and I see this couple that is so friendly. And I'm like, hey, how are you? They're like, we're good. How are you? I'm like, started my new job, blah, blah, blah. They're like, great. Hey, you look tired. I was like, thanks, Cheryl. All right, have a good night.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Like, thank you for making me feel like a bag of dicks. As if I didn't already feel like shit, now I know I look like it. Thank you, Cheryl. Back to you, Sean.
That's when I would have been like, wait, so is my makeup not good? I just did it 5 minutes ago. You should
Like,
be
bitch, I'm tired 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Of course I look tired.
Or you should be like, oh, my look was a success. I was really going for the haggard look today. So thank you for noticing, Cheryl. Back to you, Glenn Coco. And none for Gretchen. Bye.
Literally.
My goodness. I cannot. So I'll share one for complaint, because the other one isn't really a complaint. It's more of like a roast. So I could say that for roast. But my biggest complaint this week is the fucking administration, man. I know we don't get political on this pod, but listen, we've been going through it with all these layoffs and the Doge, trying to figure out where to cut corners or how we can, cut staff, things like that. As many people probably know, if you don't know, I do work for a government contractor. And I got a lovely call with 3 of my other teammates on Friday that we were losing our jobs, and there's no severance, there's no anything like that, because our positions were just simply eliminated. So they're basically giving us 2 weeks to, kind of get ourselves together, do what we want to do, use what we want to use for time and any of that, and then basically sending us off. So Friday was, there's two different ways we can talk about it. And this is why I said, y'all, this personal growth episode, great fucking opportunity this week, because damn, bitch, are we going through it? But, of course, it's normal to feel sad and be upset and be pissed, because, normal me is like, okay, now, realistically, I'm never gonna find a job within 2 weeks. Like, that's outrageous. I'll be lucky if I hear back from places for 2 weeks, or whatever, in 2 weeks to then get something. So I've already accepted the fact that, like, I'm probably going to be out of a job for a month, just based on what? Yeah, right. Catch me on the corner, and no, I'm just kidding. But like, I've already kind of accepted that I am gonna be unemployed for a month, just because even if I do get the first thing that I applied to, it'll be at least 2 weeks before I even get an interview, and then who knows how long the follow up is after that. So I've been kind of bracing myself for that, which luckily, Kevin and I are very smart. We have a very solid savings. So, like, we can cover ourselves for a decent amount of time if we needed to. Obviously, we don't want to, but we can if we need to. So, yeah, just like a shitty time. But you know what? I'm staying positive, besties. I'm just looking at it as, glass half full. It wasn't meant to be, and now whatever I get next will be, and that is what's meant to be. And I gotta just keep pressing forward. I've already applied to 6 new jobs, and like really applied. Like, it took me probably 4 or 5 hours on Friday. But again, like, I also just, one of my other kind of complaints, I'll kind of wrap this into this complaint, is resumes. I fucking hate updating that shit. And I'm also just exhausted because I fucking just went through it when I moved down here in June. Finally got this job in August, and I was like, yay, I won't have to touch my resume again for like another 5 years. And now have already updated it and have sent out feelers and have went back to connections, and it's just a lot of work. Like, finding jobs nowadays is hard. It's not just applying, it's networking, it's, you know, going out on the streets and fucking saying, who's got a job? Who's got a job? Like, it's tiring, but I can do it. Like, I'll be okay. I'll make it work. We will be okay. It's just hard because your girl was getting comfortable, and now I gotta get uncomfy again, and I'm just gonna have to live in that uncomfy for a little bit. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so crazy because you're like, I'm just down bad as of recent. And you are losing a job and you're like, I'm good. And I'm like, I have a job and I'm like,
I know. So for context, I literally called Brittany, or I texted Brittany the day that I found out and just said, like, yo, when you get 5 minutes, you need to call me. So she called me on her break, and I just laid it on thick real quick. And she was just like, are you okay? And I was like, honestly, I think I'm good. Like, I was just, it had obviously just happened. So I think it was in shock. But, I got to be grateful that I still have 2 more weeks of pay. I got to be grateful that I have all of this vacation time that I was saving for the couple vacations that I had in May. So I'm going to get paid out for that. So, like, just this job is going to cover me for a month at least. So, like, I'm good. Glass half full for sure. Like, I'm going to be okay. I, I mean, I better have a job by May, or else we'll be having a different conversation. But I think I'll be okay. I'm good. I'm good.
yeah, no, I literally told Jeff and I was like, guess what? And he's like, oh, like, that's not a big deal. Like, he'll find something. He's great. Like, you told me, and I'm like, I'm sad and like, I'm upset.
Yeah, you're like, why are you not concerned? I'm concerned.
Right. But then I thought about it and I'm like, you're a good person. Like, you're smart. You're a go getter. It's not like you're just going to be like, and now I'm done working and I'll
Right.
get, like,
Right.
I'll just collect
And none for Sean, less bronze. Bye.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm not worried because you are going to go out there. You're going to put yourself out there. And, I think you'll make the best decision for you. So I'm not really worried, but I think just knowing that you don't have a job is like, ugh, but you're working out. You're going to keep like walking the dogs. You're going to keep doing the damn things. So stay in your routine. And
Just gonna stay funky fresh,
okay.
And worst case scenario, I'll just sleep in this closet. I promise y'all, I am getting a real studio. I actually have been coming up with this whole really nice plan, but now that I don't got a job, I gotta focus on that first. And then my studio is gonna be looking like Brittany's. It's gonna be up and coming. That's what I'm saying. Up and coming. That's what I'm telling everybody.
Yeah, but until then, Sean does have to live out of his closet while he Airbnb
Exactly.
the rest of his house.
My microwave's over here. My mini fridge is there. I got my little one tea ration today.
He's sitting on his toilet.
Exactly. I'm sitting on my toilet. I can take a shit while I'm on the pod. Who cares? Fuck it. Brittany, any other complaints for you before we move into the main topic?
Well, just something really funny. Kind of has to do with the bathroom. Yesterday, I went out with my friend Jordan from my last job, and we had gone and done pottery and then went out to dinner. And then when we left dinner, I asked her if she wanted to go out to watch a band, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring food home to my boyfriend, and then I'll meet you there." And I was like, "Perfect." And I was like, "Oh my god, I don't think I can make it to like the bar." So I literally like ran into McDonald's, and I saw there was like two stalls, and they have like the thing when you lock the door, it turns it from like vacant to not vacant, and
Yep.
it's like green. So I like went to go to the small stall, and it said red like not vacant. And then I went to go to the big one, and it said vacant. It's green, so I pushed on it, and
Oh
I
my
was like,
god.
and it was like locked, so they must have
Oh
not
my
have
god.
like done it all the way. But like I was like, wait, it's green, so I was like, I really have to go. So I pushed on it again, and this 6-year-old girl goes, "Hello." I didn't even say anything.
I would have said sorry.
But she's
Oh
like, "You
my god.
dumbass bitch, I'm in here. The door's locked." But she must have not just like locked it that
Notched
way.
it all the way, yeah.
But thank God
Oh my
I'm
god.
walking in a 6-year-old, and she's in the big stall, and she's probably like you, how you were at the truck stop, like, "I'm in here. Just go, just go."
My god. Meanwhile, you're like running to the car, you get in and you're like, go, go! Lock all the doors, hurry up, go! She's gaining on us. She knows who I am.
She saw my shoes. I know it.
Literally, literally. Oh my goodness. Wow. What a story.
So
Shit.
my complaint is lock the door, bully people. I don't care if you're
For
6. I don't care if
real.
you're 60. Lock the damn door.
For real. God.
Any more for you?
No, I mean, I think I pretty much covered it. That was a mouthful in and of itself. So, I think, like I said, one of the other big things that happened this week, I'll save it for the roast because it's, kind of like a, exciting thing, but also, kind of crazy. So, I'll save that for the roast. So everybody will just have to stay tuned.
Oh, slay. Okay. Well, we'll just have to hold on tight until we get to.
Everyone's flying at the seat of their pants. And if you're wondering, no, I did not shit my pants again. Okay?
Sean, your biceps are looking quite large.
Thank you. I've really been working hard on them.
You're like, it's 30 degrees in here and I'm wearing a t-shirt because I wanted you to say
Yeah, right? I mean, we did turn the AC on for the first time today because it's 85 here today.
Is it really?
It's 85.
I'm so jealous.
And
It is.
tomorrow's supposed to be like 76. Like the rest of the week's supposed to be mid to upper 70s.
It's 44 here and
Oh,
raining.
woof. Woof.
Yeah.
And you look so snuggly and cozy, though.
I'm literally in a vest and I'm still freezing. I have my air heater, my space heater on because I came into this room and it was probably like 30.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, good thing you got that vest. You want to make sure you're covering up. You don't want
Right.
any of those to show.
We don't want high beams on.
Exactly. All right, let's get into our main topic. Let's do it. So, as we said, we're going to talk about just growth and what that means and outgrowing people and maybe outgrowing portions of ourselves. Shit, I know I'm kind of a different person since I've been down here, since the year has started in general. So, we're just going to kind of gab and just talk about growth and what that means to us and like what has happened over the past, I'd say maybe 8 months since we started the pod.
Yeah, so, I mean, just from, in the past, which I'm hoping I get there soon, I've been walking a lot, but, like, when you grow, like, you kind of have to, like, I feel like look within and kind of, like, recenter and be like, what's gonna work for me? And like we said in the beginning, like, that kind of, like, leads to, like, the loneliness of it all because you can't be doing it all and still, like, balancing everything else. Like, so I feel like anytime I've ever made, like, a very big life change or did something. It was just like, you know, I'm going to school, so I don't have time to do like other things, or I'm like working out more, so I don't have time to do different things. And maybe I don't want to go out drinking. I want to like go for walks or go for bike rides. So like, it really does just make things like a little bit different and maybe not so surrounded by people doing things that you normally do, or like have the pressure to do things. Like I know sometimes I'm like I really want to hang out with them, but like I don't want to just keep drinking. Like that sucks, like to like always feel like you have to, and then they're like, you're not drinking, why aren't you drinking, blah blah. And it's like sometimes you have FOMO, but I feel like once you get to a spot, you have like JOMO, like the joy of missing out, and you're like, I actually don't want to be a part of that. And
Yeah.
like, I want to miss that. Like St. Patrick's Day, going to the parade, no thanks. Like that kind of vibe. Like, no thank you.
And honestly, the more you talk to yourself about that and the more you justify your actions, the better outcome you have. And honestly, that's a perfect, that I could not have said that better myself, of like, rather than fear of missing out, it's joy of missing out, and just allowing yourself the time and the space and the opportunity to be by yourself or do something cozy or do whatever you want to do. I feel like we're so wrapped up in the day to day. There's only so much time in the day. We can only do so much. I have to do XYZ, 9 million different things. And at least for me, I've really learned to slow down and just have those days that you were talking about, of just seeking joy in solitude and just, you know, enjoying some of the time by myself to have some inner monologue or take a bath or go for a walk with the dogs by myself. Right, exactly. So I love how you just worded that. So yeah, joy of missing out, people. Joe Mo faux show.
Literally. I mean, and like then you get into a new routine typically too when you change. So like you want to make sure that you're sticking to that. And if you wake up and you do this and that, sometimes it's harder for people just to be like, hey, what are you doing? Do you want to like go do this? So
Yeah.
just like know that it's okay to like feel a little bit guilty about it, but know that you're doing it for you. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the only person you have is you in your corner. You don't have anyone else. Like, people come, they go. You're the only one left at the end of the day. So,
Maybe you have your spouse as well.
no, they're gonna run off.
The support from your spouse. But yes, I agree with you. At the end of the day, like, it's you. You need to listen to you, your body, like whatever it is that, you know, whatever it is that you feel you need to do for yourself that particular day or in that particular moment, then that's what you need to do.
Yes. And when the plane's going down, they say put the oxygen on yourself so you can help others. Don't put it on them first. So, like, pour into yourself and then you can, like, reincorporate everything else back in.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think not every piece of self growth is comfy. If anything, most of it is uncomfy, trying to navigate a new way of life, a new sense of self. But you, in some sense of the word, like, you have to do it because at some point in your life, you are going to find yourself questioning certain things about yourself, your relationships, whether they're, you know, your significant other or that specific relationship, or your friends, the relationships you have with them. Like, there are a lot of things that you have to take into consideration when you're older, and it seems weird and it seems unfair a lot of the time, but a lot of the times that's when you truly find out, like, where people are at in their lives, or how they feel about certain aspects of your life or their life. And, you know, I think the move this year was really big for us, or the move in June. We've already been here for almost a year, and we've started getting some connections down here. We've started getting some friends, and it feels really good. And it was also a lot for us to be by ourselves down here in a place that we don't know anybody. We're starting over, we're meeting new people. Like, it was a lot for us. But like you highlighted earlier, Britt, it's a choice. Like, we I can't speak for Kevin, but like I woke up every day trying to make a choice of what do I want to do today to make my life better, make it more impactful or joyful. And that could be something as simple as, going for a walk with the dogs, or it could be like, okay, I need to like say hi to somebody today or try to meet somebody today because I need some social interaction other than just what Kevin and I have on a regular basis. It's uncomfortable and it feels weird. Like, I often make the joke, and I think I've told you this before, Brittany, but I make the joke to some of my friends when I talk about it. Meeting friends in your 30s is like dating, because there's so many people that I've met that like by the end of the first hangout, we're like, okay, we're vibing, like, let's hang out again. Or there are some people where, you come home and you're like, yeah, I don't really know if like they're my vibe or if they're gonna, jive with me really well. Or I don't know if this is gonna work. And, but then it's hard because if you had a great time with the person, right, and you liked them, then you're kind of like, okay, like, do I text them? I don't want to text them too much. I don't want to, like, be overbearing or seem too desperate, like I really need or want friends. Um, but I will say, like, something that I've really honed in on and have really appreciated about kind of this restart is I've really focused on quality over quantity. Just finding really, really quality people, and, or I should say real quality people. Really sounds weird, but like, I don't want, now that I have the option to kind of date essentially people and like kind of see what I like, I can pick people who make me feel good and who think the same way I do, or who have some of the same hobbies, or honestly, people who will push me to do things that, like, for example, like running and, doing some of those things. Like, I ultimately kind of made the decision with my sister-in-law, but I met people down here who enjoy running and who are physical therapists who would help me, who would push me to do different things that I would never do before. And like, that's what I want, is people who are going to cheer me on and like give me feedback and, push me in ways that, I'm not necessarily pushed in all the time.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like talking about what you're talking about, making friends in your 30s. And I think we have an episode on that coming up. But just quickly, like last night, I hung out with Jordan, who we're all work from home. And I had left that role at that job. But she was going to go out with me and our friend Becky from work also. But Becky was like, I don't feel well, I'm not coming. And I'm like, oh shit, like it's just going to be me and Jordan. Like, and I even texted her, I was like, hey, Becky can't come. Like, do you want to press pause? Like, hoping she's like, yeah, let's not. And she was like, no, we can still do something if you like want to wait to do pottery. And I was like, no, like I need to stop being like a little bitch. Like, just go. Like, what's the worst? If
Right.
let's just say she's a horrible person and not like she is at work. Like, let's just say she has a flip of the switch and she's just like so terrible. I'm like, it's only for like what, a few hours? Like, who cares? You
Right.
plan to go, just go. And I literally had the best time. Like, it was like seamless. It's like we were friends forever. Like, she
Yeah.
was so fun, so easy to talk to. Like, it
You
was
had
so
to be uncomfy.
right. And then we ended up going out again after dinner because um Marissa and Brittany were at like the fishing game or whatever. And Brittany's husband Dane was playing, and their daughter was singing with him. So I was like, "Do you want to go?" Because she like lives right around the corner from there. And she was like, "Yeah, no, actually, that would be awesome because she just moved from like Plymouth area. So like she doesn't have a ton of friends. So she's like, I was so excited and I was like, thank God I didn't bail on her. Like that would have been so awful. And Marissa even got along with her. We were all dying laughing. Oh, wait, time. Can we do like a complaint for 1 second? Let me
Yeah.
go back. Let me backpedal. So because it was raining, they did it inside. You couldn't hear anyone or anything. The band was playing so loud, and it's like you're like talking. You're on a circle table, and we're all like, "What? What?" Like I met her boyfriend, Jordan's boyfriend, for the first time, and he's like, "Did you like Kalukas?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Have you've never been to Kalukas?" And I was like, "No, never been there." But he was saying,
No, I don't want to show you my kukas.
I know. I'm like, what is this man saying? I'm like, I feel horrible. I'm like, what?
Oh my
And he was
God.
saying, oh, you've never been to Luca's, which is where we had dinner. And I was like, no, it was really good though. And he's like trying to make small talk. But Marissa was talking to us from across the table. And of course, the band's so loud. And we're like, what? And she like says it again. We're like, what? And she's like, one word, 2 syllables.
That,
Like, it was
that,
just so loud. Like, why do they have to have it so loud? Yes, like we want to vibe and we want to be like, this
right,
music is great. But like, if you can't talk, like, what are we doing?
right. Let's go to a brewery and have great conversation by yelling at each other from across the table. Perfect.
Literally.
Yeah, but see, isn't it crazy that like one, like you were just like, all right, I have to just be uncomfortable and just like experience it, and then look at what happened. Like it was great. But on top of that, like perfect scenario, because that's very similar of what happened to me with one of my friends down here, is we ended up just, meeting for coffee. And then after coffee, he literally was like, do you want to like get something to eat? Like, I'm starting to get a little hungry. I don't have any plans for the rest of the day. Like, this is going really well. Like, do you want to just like keep the conversation going and like go get an app or something? And I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. And then, when it ended, that was kind of when we were both like, an hour meetup turned into like 5 hours, and then ended up being okay, we're really vibing. This is good. And now we see each other at least once a week. It's crazy.
Yeah, you were getting like facials, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm so jealous. And now
Yeah.
Kevin's
We've
going. I'm
gotten we've gotten facials together. He's brought me and a ton and Kevin and I to a ton of places in Alexandria. So we've gotten to explore new areas of that. He came and supported me for my run. He made like little cutouts of my face, and like he's just been so supportive, and he's been one of those people that's been like pushing me to do more. Which has been so uncomfy, but I'm like, oh my God, I love this. I love that he's challenging me to, do some more stuff. So it's honestly been great. It's definitely been really, really good. But again, sitting in those uncomfy moments, it's it's hard sometimes. Or you get nervous because you're driving there and you're like, okay, what are we gonna talk about? What do we say if like it's totally like a first date? Like it's not at all any different, because even if you knew this person, like you said, like virtually, it's still totally different. And like that's how I met one of the friends down here. Is we just connected through this like 20s and 30s group on Facebook, and we started talking back and forth, and then just decided to meet up. So like same type of thing. It's like I've seen them before, I know who they are, but like I don't know who they are. So it's so nerve-wracking, but sometimes you got to just sit in the uncomfy to you know, get an outcome that's more desirable or more comfy for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like you said before, he seems like quality over quantity. So,
Right, right, for sure. Already with just the, 4 months or 3 months that we've been friends, he's already shown up for me. He's already done a lot of things for me, and vice versa for him, because you give what you get. And,
yeah.
you know, I think you and I talked about this the other day on the phone of like, it really is true when they say like you give what you get. Like you can try and do as much as you can for people, but if at the end of the day they're not at that same level as you, that's okay. At least for me, like that's how I've kind of viewed it, is like, that's fine if they're not where I'm at right now, but we as adults have to make the conscious decision of, okay, is this worth continuing, like putting a lot of effort in and doing what I need to do to get a usual or accepted response or reciprocation, or do I want something better? Do I want to push for something better? So I think that's part of growth too, is, realizing you get to a certain point and just understanding that you might need something more than what you have been getting. And that's okay.
Right. And if people are like, wow, you've changed. I was listening to Khloe Kardashian's podcast and she's like, yeah, when people say that, I say, well, I hope so. I want to be better. I want to change. So thank you.
Right.
Like, I hope so.
Yeah. Honestly, it's so, if we're constantly staying the same, now I'm going to sound like a broken record, like Bridesmaids. Like, if we're growing, we're changing. If we're growing, we're staying the same. But it is true. It's like, if you're not even willing to try to do new things or push yourself outside of your comfort zone, there may be times where things will be different for you, or you will start growing apart from people because they're not willing to grow or change in the same ways that you are. And again, that's fine. It doesn't need to, not everyone needs to do that at the same time or at all. And you can still be friends with people as well who aren't necessarily where you're at. Like, that's 100% fine. But it's, again, to me, it comes down to figuring out, is this, is it the right time? Do I want to keep putting effort and, exhausting myself trying to do all of these things if I'm not going to get ultimately what I deserve out of it?
Right. And I mean, the definition of insane is doing the same thing again and again and then just
Mm,
expecting different results. And you're not going to unless you make a change.
right.
So you're just going to make yourself insane. Like, if you're not happy, make the change. I mean, that's why I, got a new role at a new job. And like right now it's super uncomfy and I'm like
Mhm.
dragging ass, but I'm like, I just need to wait until I'm out of training and out of, that part of the unknown where
Yeah.
I can fit in and be like, I can do this. Like, this is in 2 months, it's going to be, I can do this with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
I just have to get there.
I always try to tell myself the unknown is scary, but doing the same thing every day that you hate is scarier.
Ugh.
and
Well,
that and that's what pushes me to, like, exactly like you said, like, you were so torn about this job, but you hated it enough that you were finally like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put my name out there, I'm gonna start over, I'm gonna do something new. Like, yeah, you're still in the, somewhat of the same field, but you're in a new place, a new company, whatever. But I would rather be, you know, I would rather go into the unknown than, be miserable in my job every single day.
right. And like, if this doesn't work out, then I'll find something else. Like,
Right.
it's better to know that I tried than to stay in the same misery. It's like almost
Yeah.
like pick poison. Do you want to pick the poison of like being uncomfy for a little bit and maybe finding what I love, or just pick the poison of like staying where I am and staying miserable because nothing is changing.
Yeah. But you know what? That's understanding your value. That's understanding who you are as a person, what your values are, and what your understanding of yourself is, and what you are willing to accept and not accept for yourself. And I think that's the huge thing that makes people scared to try something new, is because we do get comfortable in the day to day. And, believe it or not, I truly feel like we also get comfortable complaining about work and complaining about the same things, where it's harder for us to step out of that mindset and step into something else where everything is new, everything is different, and we don't know anything. But if we try to shift our perspective and try to look at things in a more positive perspective, it helps process scary things a little bit easier. Like, oh wow, I get to start this new job today. I get to wake up and do my regular, I still get to do my regular morning routine to dunks and then come back. Like, I don't have to change that part of my routine. Sure, this looks different, but me, Brittany, I still get to go every single morning and do what I have done. And that part of my day is still a scheduled piece of literal peace that I have in my day that will stay the same. And that honestly would help me say to myself, like, all right, I can tackle the day. Like, I got my morning coffee, I did what I needed to do. Now I can persevere and like get this done. And you might have to pivot or shift or change your perspective on things, but everyone has to do that, right? Like, no day is ever going to be perfect in anybody's eyes. There's always going to be bullshit. Do you have anything else about like personal growth or things that you have, assessed or analyzed about yourself this year?
No, just that I need to change like a butterfly into a bad bitch.
Dead. Well, you are on your way. You have definitely become more positive and have been a lot better about, seeing the end result. The past few months, like just talking to you, it is a lot different. So you are well on your way, Brett. The only other like recommendation that I would give before we move on to the roast is, I'm sure people are going to have mixed feelings about it, but I highly recommend reading The Let Them Theory. It really has honestly changed my life in terms of like my perspective and the way that I think about things. I've also been reading a lot of other like, self healing and whatever books. But that book is definitely a good step in the right direction to start kind of retraining your mind to think about things a little bit differently.
Okay, yes, my sister, literally, I went to my sister's today and she let me borrow that. She said, I'm going to
It's so good.
let them. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Also, while we're on the book Reckies, this was back in, okay, I don't know when this was, but it was a few years back, and I like read a whole bunch of books. So here's my recommendations: Kate Flanders, the Year of Less, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh,
Yep, loved that one. You Are a Badass by Jen. I don't know how to say
that
her
book
last.
is good. That book is good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sincero. I don't know. And then Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis.
Okay.
Also a really good one. They're just
Love
like
it.
quick, easy reads. The Art of Not Giving a Fuck, or The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, was like a little bit funny. So yeah.
But empowering.
Yes, all really made you think. They're all positive. They all can't steer you wrong. If you want to start a journey of just like being uncomfy and like working on you, I swear, try all of those books, including the Let Them Theory.
I love that. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. You heard it here first, besties. All right. Well, now it's time, as always, for that totally different vibe, the roast. Each week, we're going to conduct a roast review where we pick a series, movie, or maybe even a guilty pleasure or something else that happened in our lives that's very exciting that we want to share. And we will give you our honest, unfiltered take. What's worth your time, what's not, and what had us yelling at the screen. Let's get into it. So, Brittany, what's one of your roasts this week?
So I don't know if we've talked about it before. I feel like we've dabbled in it. That Nickelodeon kind of like behind the
Oh
scenes.
my gosh, yes. I watched it after you talked about it.
Okay, so just like a follow up to that. So Drake and Josh, like Drake was like a big character on there, so was Amanda Bynes. But Amanda Bynes did not, she was not part of it. She did not come back in like today's world and speak on it. Only Drake Bell did. And if anyone from like who's a 90s kid or maybe even early 2000s remembers Drake and Josh on Nickelodeon, and Josh has a podcast called The Good Guys. And he actually had Drake Bell on, and they kind of talked about that a little bit, and it was a two-parter. So when I saw that on TikTok, I like instantly like downloaded the first episode. And then
Wow.
yeah, it was really good. So anyone who did like that docu-series, I think it was a few episodes. And what was that on, Sean? It was like not on a Netflix or Hulu. I think it was like HBO maybe.
Yes, I think it was HBO, yeah.
Yeah. And then if you want to listen, if you liked that on Max, you could listen to The Good Guys with Drake Bell. It's a two-parter. It was pretty good.
Oh, I'm definitely going to listen to that. Thank you for that recommendation because it is, that docu-series is really good. I've definitely been wanting to know more, so I'll definitely check that out. That's perf.
Yeah, what do you have?
So one of my roasts, it isn't really about a TV show. I know I told everybody that I would talk about it in the roast section. So congratulations, Shayla, if you made it to this segment of the pod. But I know that I have been on here before and have talked about like our COA board and how it's crazy and like everybody is just, they're fed up with this current board and just can't freaking deal with it. Well, fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, probably about a month ago now, they all announced that they were stepping down. And they announced that if nobody else takes takes on
Roles,
the
like
roles of being on the board, thank you, that the our community or our association could go into a receivership, which is a way worse situation. It's basically like the county or court appoints somebody and they we have to now pay them to run our community, and it's someone who doesn't live here, who doesn't have any idea what goes on here, whatever, things like that. So long story short, didn't seem like we were getting a lot of great options. Your girl and three other people in the community ended up putting in for a board position, and did get a board position. So congratulations, Shayla, on top of losing my job. There was a positive there. I did get a new board position or volunteer position. Of course, everybody kind of like votes the board in, and then once you have the board kind of discusses who amongst themselves like who they want for which position. So of course the people that I was with, everyone, and I freaking knew this was gonna happen because whatever, it's just the story that always freaking happens. But everyone was like, well, I think Sean should be president, and everybody freaking agreed. So now I'm the president of our freaking COA board. So that been that has been a crazy journey thus far. I've only been in the role for a week and a half, and there's already a lot of things to do, a lot of cleanup, a lot of training that I had no idea takes place, that needs to take place. So this like volunteer job is turning into kind of like a full-time job for the next couple of weeks. But if anything, it will keep me busy, keep me humble, keep me safe, whatever I need to do to, get through these next couple weeks. But yeah, so I was, Brittany and I actually scheduled a time. We always schedule time to do the pod. I was actually a little late today because I was talking to some residents about some things that they had going on. So slowly trying to meet people in our community, talk to people, reach out, see how people are feeling, and just get a general gauge of the community to try to figure out how we can push forward with some of these larger scale issues that we have. So yeah, excited. I think it's going to be a lot. It's definitely going to be time consuming, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice, have the fun, but also take the heat from people if stuff happens. Like, I think we have to just, pivot, come together, figure out how to, move forward with that, piece of information or the issue or whatever it is that's going on. So I think it'll be good. I'm excited. I have a lot of good folks that I've already met in the community that are behind me. So it should be good. But yeah, that's my roast. Is lots been going on. Um, let's see. Any other roast that's related to the actual roast topic? I just finished watching Alone Australia. I don't know why, but like I was just kind of into that. I wanted to just see like what all the hullabaloo was about. It was real good. I determined that I could probably last maybe 5 days, like
What's
alone. So it's basically they pick 6 to 8 people, and they actually I think this one there was 10 people, and they're alone in the woods. They get dropped off, and they have to last 90 days in the
like
woods by
Survivor?
themselves. Yeah, but they have to like they're all separate. They're completely alone. They have to build a shelter, figure out how to get food. Um, like basically anything they need to survive, they're completely alone with no one there. So it just shows everybody recording themselves doing different things, whether it's fishing or trapping or building nets or building these crazy fucking shelters, y'all. Like some of these people are fucking into it. But I just can't help it. Like I got so into it. I was following along. I was like every night fucking stuffing my face with popcorn. I was just like fucking living it. So if you're ever bored and you need something to just have on in the background or you like that kind of stuff, highly recommend Alone. 10 out of 10.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to
What
look it
about
up.
you, Britt? Any other roasts?
Just not like TV show wise, but the painting pottery, not like actually making like something out of pottery or clay, but like painting like a plate or whatever. Like I painted a plate last night with Jordan. That was kind of fun. Just kind of like
Doing something different.
switching it up. You
Yeah,
know,
always.
crazy.
Yeah, love it. I freaking love it. Well, besties, that was a great episode. I think we touched on some stuff. We didn't want to touch upon it all because, like Brittany said, we also have some other episodes coming up this season about what it's like to be in our 30s, what we wish we told ourselves, things like that. Um, our show next week is also kind of cool and kind of in that general realm of things. But keep growing, keep doing you, besties. Do what you do best, and step into the uncomfy. Hopefully, you learned a thing or two about our struggles and how we're trying to grow from it. But with that being said, next week we do have our episode, which is going to be the quarter life crisis versus midlife crisis. From shots to sleep schedules. So, we're going to dive into the absurdity of aging, things that seemed important in your 20s versus what's suddenly become a priority now. Think, I used to party all night, and now I just want a solid 8 hours of sleep. So stay tuned for that because I'm sure a lot of us can relate to this, y'all.
Amen. And if you want to send anything in that you're prioritizing over what you never used to, send it on in. And as always, in Besties We Trust.
Bye!